Good morning, everybody. So I'm going to start off today in the barn feeding the cows, and then I'm going to move out to the fields to start picking fruits and veggies. So the first thing we do is feed them their chop, which is a mixture of corn, oats, and minerals, and then we move on to hay. Alright, so the first thing we're doing is picking sweet corn. And there's really only two ways you can tell it's ready without opening it. The first way is looking at the top of the cob. And if it's got more of a blonde top on it, like that, it's most likely a little young compared to this one that's got a nice brown, more dried top on it. And the second way is, do you want to show them, Dad? By feeling the top.
Feeling the tip of the cob. If it's real pointy, it ain't ready, it's too young. If you got a blunt tip where it's more round, then you know it's ready. Like that.
And that's what it should look like right there.
Brilliant corn.
Beautiful.
Another ear. Good.
Alright, so now we're on to broccoli. We've already picked all the main heads off of the plant, so now what comes out is all the shoots. But they're still really nice. Like that and like these. They're not quite as big, but they're perfect. Alright, so the next thing we're moving on to is cabbage. We're going to pick a whole bin that we have for Monday market. Alright, so cabbage is done. It was really nice picking now that we're in our second patch. This is probably about all we will sell on Monday, so we don't want to take more than we're going to sell because then we don't go to market Tuesday, and then by Wednesday it won't be bad at all, but it just won't be as nice and as fresh as it is on Monday, obviously. Alright, so now that we're done with cabbage, we got it here in the cooler. So as you can see, the cooler is about as empty as it's been in probably 3 weeks. We got a couple pickles and zucchini, and that's about it. We'll take that all on Monday. We have one bin of cantaloupe here we're gonna take on Monday, and then this is the bin of cabbage, like I just said. Hopefully we can sell all this on Monday. I think we can. Labor Day is usually a pretty good day at market, but it usually ends early because everybody wants to come, get their stuff, and then head out to their parties. All right, so I just got out here to the eggplant field. I got a couple picked. The ones I'm getting are absolutely enormous. Some of them are so big I can't even get my hand around them. But that's just a huge eggplant. It's hard to tell from the video, but I promise you, like, this is a normal eggplant. Even that's on the bigger side. And then when you compare it to something like this one, it's just enormous. So it's kind of good, kind of bad. Some people like them, some people don't. Gotta find my clippers here. But I'm gonna try and get 10 baskets here before lunch. And then I think we're gonna move on to cantaloupe and watermelon, but I'll show you guys how we're picking them. Now these kind of got pretty weedy on us. We should have went through them one more time with the cultivator, but it got too big, so we just couldn't do it. So it's kind of hard to tell exactly where the plants are. I'm trying not to step on anything. But basically what we're doing here is just lift up some leaves, and you can see that there's a nice one right there kind of peeking out. So I'll just take, right here's the stem. We don't want to cut the plant. Right here's the plant, right here's the stem. We just want to cut the stem, and then there she is. Perfect. Set them in gently. You don't want to squeeze eggplant too hard or you'll bruise them. And then after a day or two goes by, before we get to market, they'll have big, huge indents in them, and that's not, obviously people aren't going to buy them then. So you just want to be careful with them. They're really fragile. And actually, I'll hope maybe there's another one on there, but there's not. So we'll try and get another one here. Right here's another one. Another thing some people don't know is that eggplant, that's another big one, have, I don't know if you can see them, little tiny spikes on them that when you touch them, they'll actually break off in your skin, kind of like a thorn, and then you'll get like a little raised bump on your finger. So you want to be careful. Like some people when we're at market, they'll just start rooting through them recklessly, and then they get stuck, and then they get mad at us. So that's basically how eggplant is picked. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it is really satisfying to have really nice, beautiful eggplant. The younger ones are a little more dark purple, while the bigger one's a little more light purple, but in the end, they're all gonna taste the same. It's all gonna be good eating. All right, so I just got finished with the eggplant. Here's what they look like. Like I was saying, when I first started, I was getting some absolutely enormous ones. And right to the end, I was getting some huge ones. I'm trying to show you here, just to my head. I mean, absolutely enormous. All right, so I just got back to the shed here. This is what we got picked so far. Like you just seen, I got the eggplant. Hunter and Steph got the red beets. We already washed 3 of them. My mom took them out to the market. They got some red bell, which we've already washed quite a few of, and green, and a couple yellow. Some banana hot. We just picked a little bit this morning because my mom had orders and stuff at the market. We still got to go back out and pick quite a bit more just for Monday. So I wanted to show you guys what the tomato fields are looking like. After the rain, we were afraid that we were going to have a lot of bad cracked ones. And we do have some, but it's not near as bad as we thought. You can see all the loaded tomatoes. We have 6 rows, 3 on each side here, and there's just a ton of tomatoes here. And like I said, they're not all good, but even if 75 or 50% of them are good, that's still hundreds and hundreds of baskets. All right, so now we're back from lunch. We're gonna move on to cantaloupe and watermelon. All right, so just like I told you guys before, when we're picking watermelon, we always want to check and make sure they have a yellow belly before we pick them. These watermelon here that my dad are throwing are all yellow, and they're some of the biggest watermelon we've ever picked out of this patch so far this year. Wow. Wow. Holy cow.
Wow.
You ready?
Yep. Got it, Frank? Oh my God. Good job.
Oh my goodness. Wait, hold on, wait.
I'm using my sea legs now.
Cyprian, just hold it there. And smile. Good. Wow.
That's Frank.
So now we're moving on to cantaloupe. And as you can see, there's not a lot we're picking out of this yet. They're just coming on. But the ones that are here are beautiful and they're really nice sized.
Is there one there?
So now we're moving on to onions. Steph and Frank are going through and pulling them out of the ground. My dad, as you can see, is clipping the tops off. And then I am just shucking that outer dirty layer off and throwing them in the basket and putting them on the wagon.
Wow, yeah, you those really.
All right, so now I'm loading up the peppers that Hunter and Steph picked.
Now here's the hot cherry peppers. Sweet frying Italian. Again, these are really nice and solid. Nice color on them. So here's what they look like all in the wagon. All right, so now we almost have everything in here. We're gonna start washing. Like I showed you earlier, we have the bell, red beets, eggplant, and now we have all the guys' peppers, onions, and some potatoes we gotta wash yet also. All right, so here's green bell. Here's yellow bell. Orange bell. Alright, so then after we get done washing a load, we put it on the cart, which this is all of our bell, long hots. Alright, you pull it. We'll pull it into the cooler. And unload it. So now we're finishing up the red bell and moving on to the eggplant. The eggplant's more of a slower process because I actually got to get 2 hands in each eggplant because they're so big. And then I got to put them in the washer on the rollers, and I got to actually scrape the bottom of them on the rollers just so I can get all that mud off the bottom from sitting on the ground. Here is hot cherry peppers. Then here's a small pepper. Looks like a jalapeno, but it's actually sweet. People call them snack peppers. Another sweet pepper called pimento, or a cheese pepper. Now, if you guys watched my previous videos, I'm sure you already know how the washers work, but I'll explain it one more time. I'm putting it on the belt. It's going into the washer where there's sprayers. It's rolling on the rollers, getting sprayed off, getting all that mud off, going through the washer. Then when it hits the second half of the washer that's enclosed, it's just on regular rollers, just kind of still washing off, but also a little bit drying too. Then it moves to the outside of the washer where you can see where Dad is pulling them off of. It's called like a donut.
It's like a sponge. It takes the water off, kind of like a dryer, and then it comes onto the round table, where then Dad can easily take them off and pack them into crates or boxes, whatever he's putting them into. Banana peppers, or Hungarian hot wax. So here's a sweet frying called Giant Marconi, or just large Italian, people call them. Here's another sweet frying, Cubanelle. You got jalapeno. All right, so that's it for the washing. We just finished washing the onions and potatoes, which we covered up there with the sheet just so that the sun doesn't hit them and turn them green. So then in the cooler, we have everything stacked up. We got water on the floor. The reason for putting water on the floor in the cooler is because once you're cooling it down constantly, a couple times, what that does is it draws moisture out of the vegetables that are in here. So instead of drawing moisture out of the vegetables, we put water on the floor so it sucks the water out of the floor instead of drawing out our vegetables. So this is what it looks like. Here is, I don't know exactly how many crates, I never count anything, but at least 30, probably 40 crates of just solid peppers, red beets, and eggplant, I'm pretty sure is there. Here's a couple more baskets of long hots, banana hots, cherry hots, snack peppers, and then back here is our pickles and zucchini. And then obviously from this morning, we have the cabbage. Here is the couple cantaloupe we picked off of our new patch now of cantaloupe and watermelon. And then we have one more old bin yet, not old, but older, of cantaloupe we're gonna take on Monday. Probably sell that whole bin. And then we'll be all cut up on cantaloupes and we'll be ready to start the new patch. So then out here is the bin of watermelon that we picked. The watermelons in our older patch are still coming on strong. They're still doing really well. We got some huge ones today. And, well, I was gonna show you the tomatoes, but my mom obviously already unloaded them in the barn, so I can't show you them. So I'm gonna call it a wrap for this video. So as always, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. And always remember, it ain't much, but it's honest work.